There's lots of joints and muscles and nerves, your neck, your trunk, your low back, and your pelvis all radically affect the shoulder. Everything is connected to everything else. And this is probably the number one reason why people's shoulder pain doesn't resolve when they get what I call conventional treatment, because there's a reason that shoulder pain is there. I remember a young football player coming in. He was a quarterback. Now, this young man, he was 22 years old, and he was rock solid muscle from head to toe. There was no weakness in this young man, and he had full range of motion, so there was no issues going on. His shoulder and his elbow were painful when he was practicing throwing the football, during football practice. And so they sent him to PT, and his diagnosis was shoulder and elbow tendonitis. Now, here's the interesting part. He had absolutely nothing wrong with his shoulder or his elbow. I assessed him and I found nothing. So I said, show me what position, how do you move when you throw that football? So he pretended he was throwing a football, and as I watched him head to toe, I saw that his ankle was very unstable. It was not stabilizing him properly as he pretended to release the football. And so I asked him, I go, how many times have you sprained your ankle? And he said, well, I sprain them a lot. I roll out on them a lot in practice, and I have to walk off the pain. So immediately in my head, I'm thinking, what on earth is going on with these coaches and these trainers that they're not making sure this kid's ankles are stable, right? But of course, I don't say that. I simply said, okay, your problem is your ankle. It has nothing to do with your shoulder or your elbow. We need to get that ankle stable, because what's happening is, as you go to release that ball, that ankle is not stabilizing you properly. So your shoulder is going further than it's supposed to before it releases that ball and comes and snaps back. So this is getting inflamed and very, very annoyed every time you release that ball. We've got to get those ankles stable. We worked with him, I think we had about 4 sessions, providing all the necessary exercises and things that he needed to do to get those ankles stable. And I never once touched his shoulder or his elbow, not once. Within 4 visits, he could practice 3 solid hours throwing that football without a symptom in his shoulder or his elbow. And the best part, he told me that his coach and his trainer were going to ensure that they worked with him to make sure his elbows were good and stable. So again, everything's connected to everything else. You really need to look at a person's whole body, what they're doing activity-wise, what they're doing work-wise, what they're doing leisure activity-wise, because all of those things play a role in what area of the body may be leading to shoulder irritation, inflammation, and improper mechanics.